guys, so welcome back again. This is Gail Francis with Gafra Smart Art, and today again doing a sort of podcast slash demo. This demo, what you're seeing here is I'm painting because I remember I'm doing a series called Woman in the Water, and this is part 3. You would have seen part 1 like maybe a while back, and this is part 3. This one, the woman is facing, again, floating in the water, and you only see the head section, but she's sort of front view. And this is something, again, as I told you, painting faces is not my major forte, but I'm making every attempt to challenge myself. I also wanted to talk about, as I mentioned as well, I'm setting up to do an art party and exhibition in May. And yes, I mentioned in one of my other podcasts slash demos that it's a very scary idea. You keep all kinds of thoughts keep running through your mind as to, will it go well? Will people turn up? Suppose you order all this food and nobody comes, and nobody, there's all this food left over and all these things that you planned, just bombs, and suppose there's hardly anybody there, and suppose nobody buys any art. All these things keep going through my mind. And I didn't really want to plan anything. I hate planning things. So my son put me on to his young friend, and she's my coordinator. But there are all these different aspects that you have to look at when you're planning something like this. You have to look at timing for sending out invitations and so much more. So basically, we've looked at location, one location. There's a second one I have to look at. I told her my concept of wanting people to see the evolution of my art from when I first started to where I am today. It's an evolution and a journey. And at each journey, almost looking at it like from baby stage to primary school stage or preschool stage to teenage stage to adult stage, and still learning. So at each point, the guests receive or can take some sort of memento and then move on. And I'm also having live entertainment, at a percussion group, a violinist, and a band, as well as DJ music. I'm having food, of course, where people can help themselves to different salt, sweet, etc., and drinks. And I am having alcoholic drinks. So, location is important because I want people to move from like one room into the next. But the first location I looked at is an open space, so I'm not too sure how I'm going to operate that. And then you have to plan, how am I putting up 100 or more paintings on the walls so that it doesn't damage the walls. Now, we over here in Trinidad and Tobago, we have concrete. Most of our buildings are concrete. So there are some houses that are kind of board, and those you have to be very careful with, because if you put anything like the double-sided tape or anything like that, it could peel off the paint. The same thing could happen even on a concrete wall. The paint could peel off based on the strength of the thing. But I recently found some command sticky tapes and kind of like Velcro type tapes. So I'm going to be trying those, but I'll need a lot. And then is the whole thing of placement, where, and timing of putting up all of this in time for the start of it. Now, the way I'm doing it a Friday and a Saturday, and the Saturday is a holiday here in Trinidad. The Friday, most people in Trinidad go to Lime on a Friday. In other words, they go for happy hours. So this is going to be sort of like a party that they can come to instead of going to their happy hour, because there'll be music, but they're also seeing, there'll be food. So instead of after work, they can come straight here, because it's like around 5 in the afternoon until 10 at night. So they can party as well as see art, something with a difference, and still get a little memento as they go through my evolution and different stages. Again, the fear comes in your mind. Will anybody come? Suppose nobody turns up, because I had one exhibition when I first started to paint early in the years, and that came off really well. I mean, it wasn't a large crowd or anything like that. People kind of filtered in at intervals, And I basically had only really invited my friends and family. And I did get a good turnout. Out of 30 something, 35 pieces, I sold half. And that was at a point where I just started. So this, and then a second time I had a mini pop-up shop. And this time I shared that it was with my cousin and a friend. The friend had jewelry, my cousin had hand painted fabrics as well as art, and I had my art and hand painted bottles. I paid for everything. I paid for the location and everything. Um, Basically, if my cousin and the friend had shared the cost with me, I would have made a lot more. But I basically made enough to cover the cost of the location and a little bit in my pocket, which wasn't bad. So I know I did pretty well, even though the flow was very small. The flow of people coming in was small because, unfortunately, the location that I chose at that on that specific day, because I only ran it for one day, they closed off the road to clean a particular building, so that blocked the road, and it was difficult for people to come. But despite that, I still made. So, knowing these things, I should feel good that this one will come off better because this time I'm inviting all my clients and I'm doing the save the date and then coming closer pre-reminders, and then the actual, I'm even giving out hand invitations to special people to come, because I have quite a bit of clients from my other business where I do leadership development and coaching. So all my clients, I've sent it out to them. I'll be sending it out to them. So we see how that goes. On another side, just going back to what you're looking at, this is a demo of me painting my Woman in the Water Part 3. You may have seen pictures of the other two before. So again, faces are not my major thing. And I don't go through the entire process of how I painted her while she's in the water. I'm just giving you a preview of some of the beginning process of me painting her. And then coming down to the end of this podcast / demo, you'll just see the completed version. One thing I have to say is I'm beginning to really enjoy painting the human body and figure. So I will be doing a lot more of these, and it was really fun. And I especially love painting the sea that she's floating in. My favorite color is teal, and the whole cerulean blue and turquoise. I really love those colors. So painting, and the red, the vibrancy of her hair, and I use the color red a lot mixed with orange. I think it adds a vibrancy to her hair and her hair floating in the water. So I'm not really explaining anything. It's obvious that her neck is, I use the ultramarine blue and a little bit of black. Her nose, again, with the skin tones, I tend to use the umbers, burnt umber, raw umber, yellow ochre, mixture of those, and browns, to make her a bit tanned in complexion. So I like those colors for my human faces and human bodies. So, that's basically, and yes, I drew this out first, looked at it for quite a few days, and then decided to set up and paint. How I operate is I would draw something and leave it there for a while, and then I may come back and outline it. Like for my angels, I will come back online, outline it. This one, I drew it, left it to look at it for a few days to see if there's any proportions that I didn't like, and then I have to be in a particular mood or have a particular zest or energy or feeling to really start painting. Because when I start, I tend not to want to stop until it's finished with certain paintings. There are other paintings that I put with my watercolors. I will start, leave them, come back, do a bit, a piece, leave it, come back, do another piece. But with my acrylic, like these types of series, I tend to want to finish it then and there. So I will paint until it's finished. Right. So going back to the exhibition, yes. So there are quite a few things to organize and then budget. I have a certain budget. I told the coordinator what my budget is. So she's the one who is responsible for looking around to help save me money. so that I can put everything that I want to do using that budget. My mother will be helping me with the cost, which is so good, because I basically was taking money every month to be able to pay for this. And some things you have to pay for immediately. But and it's great that I've already spoken to the violinist. Boy, I didn't realize music was so expensive. For her to do a certain show is like really expensive. So, but because I've known her since she was small, she's cut down the cost for me a bit by half. So that helps a little bit. The percussionist too, he said he would work out something for me. I have to get in touch with him to make sure that I book him. And it's just location. There was another location I looked at, but security wise, it wasn't too cool. It's nice location, but I was a little uncomfortable because on a weekend there's extremely quiet, so I'm not too sure. So there's a lot to do, and we will see how it goes along. I'll keep you updated, and let's see how that processes and how that progresses. So we're coming to the close of my painting demo, and at the end of this you'll see the finished version. I hope you like it, and I hope wish me luck with my exhibition. This is Gail Francis, and thank you for listening to me on my podcast and demo on Gafra's Smart Art. Please remember to like my videos and to subscribe. I don't bring out videos as often as I should, but I'll try to bring them out more often. But thank you for listening. Love you guys. And don't forget, click on like.